My friends, this is my tribute to my dearest friend Norman Lindy, who passed away a few days ago in Canada. Unfortunately, I cannot attend his funeral, and I thought let me record this tribute, which is to talk about some of the times that Norman and I spent together in Guyana. I first met Norman in 1979 when I went to Kokwani, which is at that time was a thriving but small mining town on the Berbice River. It was the headquarters of the Berbice operations of Guyana Mining Enterprise. The headquarters of Guyana Mining Enterprise, Guymine, was in Linden, and Kokwani was 60 miles from Linden, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of what is actually the Amazonian rainforest. But of course, in those days, at least I had not heard of the word. I don't think anybody in Kokwani had heard of the term Amazonian rainforest or rainforest. We used to call it Bagdam, we used to call it bush, and that was it. So when I landed in Kokwani one day, a few days after I started staying there, another very dear friend, and he was Mr. Lyndon Conway. And Lyndon Conway was responsible for the accommodation of the officers of Guyana Mining Enterprise of Berbice Operations, which was, as I said, this was the head of Kokwani was the head of the Berbice Operations. So Mr. Conway was responsible for us and for our welfare, and I have never ever seen anyone with such a tremendous service orientation who did us absolutely phenomenal job of providing the absolute best service that could ever be imagined. And once again, I don't think Lyndon Conway ever attended a customer service program in his life. It was the nature of the man. That's how he was. Absolutely wonderful, delightful people. So Mr. Conway turns up to me one day and says, "Yawar, I know you're fond of hunting. Meet Norman." And there was Norman Lindy. This was in the evening after work, so Norman was off to his little farm, and he had a cutlass in one hand. He had a single barrel shotgun in the other, and he said, we shook hands and so on, and he said, "Man, you want to come?" So I said, "Sure, let's go." And we went, and we spent some time in the bush, walking around in the Amazon rainforest. Now that's what started a friendship, and the third person in this friendship was Norman's son, Andy Lindy, Leandro, and at that time I think Andy in 1979 is probably about 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And I spent 5 years in Kokwani, and I don't think in those 5 years there was any day that I did not meet Norman. So Norman and Peter Ram Singh, sadly both of them have now passed away. These were my dearest and closest friends and companions in Berbice, in Kokwani. And I don't think there was any day that I did not meet Peter and Norman in those 5 years. I mean, every single day we met. Couple of incidents I want to just share with you to recollect and to pay tribute and homage to one of the dearest friends that I have ever had. You know, truly, when people say that friends are a real wealth, I think I have been more fortunate, more lucky, more blessed than I don't know. I don't know why I'm even comparing with anybody, but I feel extremely, extremely blessed. And among those friends who I really and truly and dearly value are these two people, Peter Ramsing and Norman. Now, Norman, one day we were going through our usual labor unrest things that used to happen in Kokwani. This was a regular phenomena. Almost like it was once a month or something. You had weekends. Instead of that, we had lockouts and we had work stoppages. So it was one of those things that was happening. We didn't get too excited about these things. We did what we needed to do and so on. So I was in my office up on the hill. We had an office where the maintenance plant was and so on. That's where the administrative office also was. So somebody called me and said, "Look, there's some guy who wants to meet you." Now, usually, I was surprised because usually whoever wanted to meet would just walk in. I mean, we didn't have security and we didn't have closed doors and so on. So whoever wanted to meet would come in. So I'm thinking to myself, why does this guy not come in? So anyway, I got up and I walked out. And as I walked out of the office, I see this man standing there. And suddenly from the side, Norman comes. And Norman gets between me and this guy. So now it's like this. This is me, this is this guy, and the Norman is between me and this guy. So I'm trying to talk to this man, and Norman is in between. So every time to get around Norman, to talk to the guy, I move and Norman moves. I move this way and Norman moves this way. And I thought this is a very funny thing. I mean, what's Norman trying to do? Why is he coming in the middle? But when you respect somebody, and especially when you have spent time with them in the bush, meaning in forest, meaning in potentially life-threatening situations, dangerous situations, potentially, and you trust a person, a friend in that situation, then you learn to trust them and you learn to not ask unnecessary questions. So I didn't ask Norman anything. And after a couple of these dancing steps, that guy just walked away. So when he was out of earshot, I asked Norman, I said, "What's going on? I mean, why are you blocking me from talking to this guy?" Norman said, "Man, you will see what the man got in his hand." I said, "What?" He was saying, "Didn't you see what the man had in his hand?" I said, "Which hand?" He said, "The man behind your back." He said, "The hand behind his back." Now, obviously, his hand was behind his back, so I didn't see what was. But it was funny because this guy had one hand behind his back. So I said, "What you got?" He said, "What did he have?" He said, "He had a knife." He said, "That man, he come and kill you." He said, "That man came to kill you." So I said, "You got in between?" He said, "Yeah." What do you say? What do you say to somebody like that? Huh? What do you say to somebody like that? That was Norman. For Norman to put himself in line of danger, of a threat to his own life, just to protect his friend, was not unique, was not something he was writing home about, was not something which was remarkable. He just did it. He just did it. It was normal for him. That was normal. We used to go hunting and fishing. Norman and Peter got another friend of ours called Leon Molino to build a flat-bottom boat. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was about a 16 or a 20-foot long boat, and we would put a ice box in the middle, and we had a Evinrude outboard motor, which was given to me by my boss, my first manager, my first boss, my mentor, my parent, uh, in loco parent, my father in absentia. He and his wife, Nick and Kathleen Adams, were like my parents in Kokwani to me. And Nick gave me this Evinrude outboard motor. So we'd hook up this uh, outboard motor, and Norman and Peter and I would go up the Bobis River. Peter and I went almost every weekend practically. Norman had more to do than us, so he would sometimes come and sometimes wouldn't come, and we would spend the whole weekend camping in the bush and hunting and fishing. It was a matter of honor for us that we didn't take any food, that we only ate what we caught, and we never came back hungry. So we were pretty successful in that. The last time I saw Norman was, so as I said, the first time I saw him and met him was in 1979, and the last time I met him was 1997, when I visited. Was it 97? Yeah, I think it was 1994, not 97. When I visited Guyana at the invitation of another very dear friend, the Honorable Comrade Sam Hines, who was at that time the Prime Minister of Guyana. Sam Hines was probably the longest serving Prime Minister of any country. He was the Prime Minister of Guyana for 25 years. And Sam invited me and my friend Arjun Reddy and myself. We went to Guyana, and we went to Kokwani. Kokwani was by then like a ghost town, because all the mining operation had moved from there to another place downriver, and the mines were being run by another company, a Canadian company called Greens. And Norman was working for them, and that was the last time I met Norman in 1994, as I said. And after that, Norman moved to Canada, and then we never met face to face. We were in touch, and I am in touch with Andy, my dear friend Andy, Norman's son and my good friend. And so I thought, let me record this short video as a tribute to a great man, a man who was a dear, dear friend, a man who literally put himself online to save me, a man to whom my heart is filled with love for him and with sadness at his passing, a man who taught me the value and the meaning of friendship and honor and of standing up for your friends. Norman Lindy. Thank you.